Have you ever wondered how the world works? I'm not talking about atoms and molecules or wave functions and chemical reactions. I mean the world of people. For example, have you ever wondered who goes to college and why? What is it that makes people march in the streets? How do you know to raise your hand in math class but not at the dinner table? Why do some people like Broadway musicals and some people like hip-hop and some people like both? Well, we're gonna find out about all of that stuff and so much more. Especially you. You're gonna learn about you and your place in the world because this is Crash Course Sociology. Sociology got its start thanks to a French philosopher named Auguste Comte in the 1800s. He wanted there to be a systematic science for studying society, a way to investigate and solve its basic problems. And while sociology today is very different from what Comte imagined, that's still kind of what it is. Sociology is the scientific study of society and human behavior. But isn't society this great big thing? I mean, society is whole cities, it's the economy, it's politics, and what does all of that have to do with raising your hand at the dinner table? A lot, as it turns out. A society is just a group of people who share a culture and a territory, and culture is in everything, from the biggest questions in politics to the smallest interactions between people. So yes, society is big, but it's also very small. Want to see how? Let's go to the thought bubble. Imagine you're sitting alone in your room singing along to your favorite Broadway show at the top of your lungs. Not another person in sight. Society isn't anywhere to be found. Except that it is. Even if you ignore the house that you're in and the parents, siblings, or roommates you're probably bothering while you're singing so horribly, there's still the song that you're singing and the music that goes with it. Those things, along with literally every object in the room that you didn't make yourself, are all products of society. And you might be all alone when you're belting out Hamilton, but you weren't alone when a friend first introduced you to the musical and its songs. And for that matter, your taste in music isn't purely yours either. What kind of music you like can be influenced by anything from what you were exposed to as a kid, to what your friends like now, to what neighborhood you grew up in, or what schools you went to. Society is tricky. It gets in places you might not expect. Thanks, Thought Bubble. So when we say that sociology is the study of society and human behavior, that means that sociology is incredibly broad. In fact, it may be the broadest of what we call the social sciences. The social sciences include disciplines like economics and psychology, and while they all have different focuses and perspectives, they're all trying to understand the social world objectively through controlled and repeated observation. So what makes sociology different from any of these other social sciences? Well, like the others, sociology is looking for patterns, recurring characteristics or events, but it looks for all kinds of patterns in all kinds of places. Sociology looks at all aspects of society and at all scales, from two people talking to differences between nations. It's this scope that really sets sociology apart, especially in what's known as the sociological perspective. And the sociological perspective means two things. One, it means seeing the general in the particular, and two, it means seeing the strange in the familiar. Seeing the general in the particular is a way of saying that sociology tries to understand social behavior by placing it in its wider social context. To go back to you belting out Broadway tunes in your room, the sociologist who overhears you from the sidewalk might notice not just your choice of what to sing, but how that individual choice may have been influenced by your class, neighborhood, race, gender, or age. To take another example, a sociologist might not care whether or not you